The court date that we had been waiting for months now has finally come and gone. Britney Spears was heard by a judge, and the audio and the things that have come out that Britney is revealing about her life is incredibly sad and heartbreaking.
And jaw-dropping. We had a legitimate conversation about, like, what if she doesn't say anything? Like, what if it's not really any kind of big reveal, or it's very vague? It was not. She spoke for, I think it was like 23 minutes, over 20 minutes, and she laid it all out there. Like, she did not hold back. She confirmed truly what we've all been thinking, that she has been trapped in this life and totally under control by the conservatorship and her dad, and not having any really leeway or freedoms on her own. And you can listen to the whole thing. I'm pretty sure it's still on YouTube if you want to listen to it. But reading all of it, listening to it, I did laugh at the beginning because the judge was like, I'm sorry, Miss Spears, like, you're going to have to slow down a little bit. Like, she's a fast talker. You hear her when she talks on her Instagram, and you're like, she's speaking a mile a minute. That's how she was kind of sounding on the phone. She was not there in person. It was over the phone.
It did sound prepared, kind of. Like she was reading.
I think
something.
I think she had notes prepared on her. I think she was reading or had notes prepared or something, because there were multiple times that she paused and it kind of seemed like maybe she lost her place and looked for, she's like, oh, this is what I wanted to say. She went back. But we can go through a lot of this, but she, like, was so forced to perform, to make appearances, to make money, and then just didn't have any responsibility over her own life. I can't do anything.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from the whole thing was that she was being controlled and manipulated in every aspect of her life. She said that she has an IUD placed in her so that she can't have babies, and they won't let her go to the doctor to get it checked out and to take it out. She wants to have a family, and she, with her new boyfriend, she can't do any of that. She just basically over and over again said how controlled she is, and she said that she wants to remind them that they work for her, but they are acting like she works for them.
Yeah.
And Jamie Spears is basically just an evil dictator. And I have to say,
terrible person.
Jamie, terrible person. The whole family is fucked up, though.
I know.
What about Jamie Lynn Spears?
I don't like the way she was saying, like, my whole family's done nothing. Like, nobody's done anything.
Clearly, because Jamie Lynn Spears has been in interviews, I think even our own, saying that Britney was fine. Right. And that is absolutely terrible that you see them covering it up, and they must be afraid of Jamie, obviously. And I'm also scared for Britney because she is still under Jamie's control. So now that she put this all out there, what happens? Is she in the home with him? Is he there? It's a very scary situation. I feel so bad for her because in the audio, you can hear the real Britney Spears. Like, you can hear the pain in her voice, and you can hear that it's actually her. Whereas on Instagram lately, you can tell that that was not how she was actually feeling. It sounded so fake.
Right, which is what she said. She was like, I've been lying to everyone. I've been lying to the world. I didn't think anybody would believe me. She kind of thought if she spoke up, she wouldn't know. And it also just seems like she has been kept in the dark a lot and not given facts. And when she asked people for advice or information, they're not giving it to her, or they're telling her the wrong thing. She literally said, I did not know it was even an option for me to, like, petition to end my conservatorship. Like, she was like, I just thought this was something I was going to have forever. She apologized because it's like, look, I didn't know.
Right. I think that if the judge doesn't appeal this conservatorship, the judge is also at fault.
Well, now it's just because it turns into a whole legal thing. So the steps are, because right now, like, the case wasn't to end the whole thing. It was to remove Jamie. But now, like, I saw a couple posts about how, like, now it's like she needs to get a new lawyer potentially. I think because, like, she was never even allowed to hire her own attorney in the first place. And then petition to end the conservatorship, which could take a very long time because, like she said, a family member can basically, like, object to that. Like, a family member could say, like, she's unfit for that.
But
And then that's
how fucked up is that,
that's
though?
just it is, and
If a
that's how the
family member-
conservatorship system works, which is why the conservatorship is a fucked up system.
It's really fucked up. It makes me very sad because a family member who's clearly controlling her can step in and say, no, she's unfit. But I think Britney sounded very aware. Like,
she's like, I don't want to be examined again. She's like, I know that I'm okay.
Like,
She's like,
I feel
I'm
like
trying to have it end without having to do that.
the only reason she's not okay at this point is because she's being controlled.
Yeah, and the stories she was sharing were so heartbreaking too. It's like after she was doing this Vegas situation and just working her ass off and performing under these crazy conditions, and when she finally was like, I'm done with this, I'm not doing anymore, she told her assistant, and then after she had said no, her therapist sat her down in a room, said he had 1 million phone calls about how Britney was not cooperating in rehearsals and that she hadn't been taking her medication. And Britney said all of this was false. But the therapist immediately the next day put her on lithium out of nowhere. And she said that he took her off the normal meds that she had been on for 5 years. Lithium is very, very strong, totally different medication. Like, if you're on lithium for too much, it fucks you up forever. Like, it's really a crazy thing. Like, you can really mentally hurt yourself for being on that drug for so long. She wrote, he put me on that and I felt drunk. I really couldn't even take up for myself. I couldn't even have a conversation with my mom or dad really about anything. I told him I was scared and my doctor had me with 6 different nurses with this new medication. Come to my home, stay with me to monitor me on the medication, which she never wanted to be on to begin with. She wasn't allowed to get in her car, go anywhere for a month. And then she said, not only did my family not, and she cursed a few times, which I don't know I don't know why that had like a harder effect on me. But like, she said, not only did my family not do a goddamn thing, my dad was all for it. Anything that happened to me had to be approved by my dad. And my dad acted like he didn't know that I was told I had to be tested over the Christmas holidays before they sent me away when my kids went home to Louisiana. He was the one who approved all of it. My family did nothing. And, oh man, it went on. Like I said, she continued to talk about it for a long time. She said, like I said before, that's why I'm telling you this again 2 years later after I lied and told the whole world I'm okay and I'm happy. It's a lie. I thought I just maybe said that enough. Sometimes it's like, I thought I just maybe said enough to make everyone happy because I've been in denial. I've been in shock. I'm traumatized. Fake it till you make it. But now I'm telling you the truth, okay? I'm not happy. I can't sleep. I'm so angry, it's insane, and I'm depressed. I cry every day. She talked about how like her management company would hound her for like every little thing. She referenced, Miley Cyrus is on stage smoking joints and like doing shit, and like anytime any little thing set off everything for her, and has just toward her body. She compared herself to sex trafficking. She was like, my body has been under control of my dad for the past 13 years. She said, my precious body, who has worked for my dad for the past fucking 13 years, trying to be so good and pretty, so perfect when he works me so hard. When I do everything I'm told in the state of California, allowed my father, ignorant father, to take his own daughter, who only has a role with me if I work with him. They've set back the whole course and allowed him to do that to me. That's given these people I've worked for way too much control. They also threatened me and said if I don't go, then I have to go to court, and it will be more embarrassing to me if the judge publicly makes the evidence we have, saying like you have to go. So like you said, the whole thing, anytime people always say like, oh, why hasn't she said anything? Why doesn't she just publicly say what's going on? It's because she has all these people in her life telling her, if you say this, we're taking you to court. You're going to be embarrassed in front of the entire world. You're going to make your case and the judge is going to say no, and it's going to be terrible for you. And she's never been able to actually say anything. And now she's actually able to speak and talk. And it's terrible.
The whole thing is sickening to even hear about.
I know.
And so I can't imagine being Britney Spears in this position. Can somebody go like kidnap Britney Spears and set her free? Like, can we go get Britney Spears and then bring her to the Bahamas or something and set her free? Like, how do we get
a wild? It's like, yeah, let's kidnap her to set her free.
Yeah, no, kidnap her for good reason, and then set her free. Because the whole thing is so incredibly heartbreaking because you can tell that she is okay. But she's
Jamie
not
Spears
okay.
is one
Like,
of the worst human beings.
she seems like if she can just be on her own or not under the dictatorship of her
she
father.
wants to still continue to take care of herself. Like she's like, look, I see a therapist twice a week. I want to see a therapist once a week, and I want that therapist to come to my house so I don't have to deal with driving and paparazzi and everything. She's like, Lord knows, she made a joke. Like, I know I need therapy. Like, I know I need a therapy, but like, she's like, I just wanted to be on my own terms. Nothing in her life is on her own terms.
That really just sucks to just have your whole life. You just have no control of your life.
And you're Jamie Spears so much.
And you're Britney Spears, but you just have no control of your life because your dad is evil.
What's the situation with her mom? I feel like I know nothing about her mom.
It's hard. So Lynn Spears, the news has always kind of portrayed it as Lynn wanting to protect Britney, but
Are they
now
still married?
finally speaking up against the dad. No.
I'm sure the dad has control over everybody though in some way, but still, it's no really excuse.
I mean, this is what I'm just saying. Like the power that Jamie has had, and I think has been able to wield over his entire family. I'm just thinking of all the trauma through the years of this entire family, probably just doing and listening to every single thing that Jamie Spears tells them.
People don't talk about it enough that Jamie Lynn was named after Jamie and Lynn Spears.
Correct, yeah. So they got.
It's very weird.
Lynn and Jamie got divorced in 2002. So they've been divorced for a very long time.
Oh, so like before any of this.
Yeah, way longer.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I mean
then you would think
right? So
that
like
she
now
would-
the headlines is like Britney Spears' mom concerned. Britney Spears' mom is very concerned after court
So
hearing.
maybe she's like not in it. She doesn't know what's going on.
It sort
sure
of
she
seems
knows.
like it, but I don't know.
Well, I'm sure he's lying to her, and then how much is Britney telling?
Yeah. So Lynn's attorney said she's a very concerned mother. The attorney also reportedly took a moment to address the court and wanted it known on the record that Lynn seconds her daughter's wishes and wanted to make sure that the court took Britney's concerns seriously. She said, I first want to say this was very courageous of Ms. Spears. One thing I want to raise with the court is when she was there in May 2019 that she didn't feel like she was heard. I feel we need to make sure today that she was heard. Jones, who's Lynn's attorney, also implored Britney's team to put together a health plan immediately and to not leave the court without a new plan in place, stating today is a day while the world watches, while we listen to Ms. Spears, that we put in place a plan. That is her mother's request, that we not leave the court without having a plan. So, look, at the end of the day, I think this is where it comes down to. I think Lynn and some of her family members don't fully trust Britney to be on her own completely. I think that they don't trust her to totally be, not necessarily be in charge of her own life. It's just it's two extremes. It's totally making decisions on your own and maybe stop taking your meds and doing whatever you want, whatever. I feel like that's what Lynn doesn't want to happen. Mm-hmm. The conservatorship where she's locked down so hard and it's so bad also doesn't want that to happen. Wants some kind of middle ground, but how does that
How does
happen?
one get that?
How does one get that? How do they
Somebody
get
has
that?
to live in the house with Britney and
Right. It's how do they make sure that she's okay without having this constant control? I weirdly think that, after the 2008 and everything that happened, that her mom was probably well, at least we know that she's being watched after. And but now it's taken an extreme turn.
that was one incident that people still look back on, and maybe there were a couple others, but
There was a lot.
It was a year,
yeah.
but who doesn't have? If you are Britney Spears and you're looking back now at everything that has happened in her life and everyone hounding her, can you blame the girl for going absolutely nuts?
No.
But that was so long ago. It just is
It also just depends on, like you said, the family. You have this terrible person as your father who saw an opportunity and took advantage of it.
Yeah, he just saw a money machine and
Exactly.
just took it, which is terrible. But hopefully something comes from this in a positive way for Britney. I think now
Be
everybody
in control of her own life.
Everybody is aware that everything that was being said about her is true. Because
Yeah.
I remember a time where people were like, and this is why everyone should just form their own opinions, because I remember there was a time when everybody on the internet was like, guys, we can't assume things about Britney. It's really rude to assume that she's not okay.
Yeah.
And it's well, she clearly wasn't okay.
Yeah.
And people were picking up on it.
Yeah.
But that was like a little thing for a little while that was going around. Everyone was like, no, we can't assume she's not okay.
Right.
It's like, well, clearly she wasn't. So people were on the right track.
Yeah, definitely. So there are some pretty clear, there is some points that have to be made. Like I said, I think after this now, there is a way for them to petition. But if a family member says, no, I think it drags on for a pretty long time. So I hope that Britney is at least happy with the world hearing her story and being on her side. Because I think she has not felt that for a really long time.